Close your eyes and picture it. The world outside is blanketed in snow. The faint smell of pine needles mixes with the sweet scent of sugar cookies baking in the oven, and Bing Crosby is crooning softly from the record player. The living room glows, not from bright LED lights like today, but from warm, twinkling bulbs and the gentle hum of a color wheel casting rainbow shadows on a silver tree. The 1960s were a time when Christmas wasn't about the latest gadget or online shopping rush. It was slower, simpler, and filled with traditions that wrapped families in comfort and joy. For kids, the season was magical. For parents, it was about making memories that lasted a lifetime. Today, we're opening that memory book and looking at 10 things that made Christmas in the 60s so special. From decorations that lit up the house to toys that defined a generation, each one tells a story about what it meant to celebrate the holidays back then. So pour yourself a mug of hot cocoa, settle into your favorite chair, and let's step back into the golden glow of Christmas past. Number 1. Aluminium Christmas trees. Nothing said modern Christmas in the 60s like an aluminium tree. Sleek, shiny, and futuristic, these silver branches captured the spirit of the space age, when Americans were glued to rocket launches and dreaming of the stars. Families would set them up in the living room, and instead of stringing them with messy lights, a rotating color wheel on the floor would shine red, green, blue, and gold across the metallic needles. It was like a living light show, transforming the whole room into a glowing wonderland. Kids remember sitting cross-legged on the carpet, watching the colors shift and shimmer, while parents admired the fact that these trees didn't shed needles or dry out. But by the early 70s, people longed for the scent of real pine, and the tradition of live trees returned. Still, for those who grew up in the 60s, nothing says Christmas quite like that sparkling, space-age centerpiece. Number 2. Bubble lights. Before LED bulbs lit up every corner, bubble lights brought magic to the tree. These colorful glass tubes filled with liquid came to life when they warmed up, sending a stream of glowing bubbles upward. For a child in the 60s, they were mesmerizing, like tiny lava lamps dancing in the branches. Parents loved them too, because they gave off a warm, candle-like glow without the danger of an open flame. Many kids would lean in close, staring wide-eyed at the bubbles rising, almost hypnotized by the movement. By the late 70s, bubble lights had all but disappeared, replaced by safer string lights. But collectors still treasure them today, because they weren't just decorations, they were part of the living, breathing magic of Christmas in the 60s. Number 3. Sears Wish Book. When the Sears Christmas Wish Book arrived in the mail, it was like Santa himself had delivered it. Hundreds of pages thick, filled with toys, games, clothes, and gadgets. It became the highlight of the season for kids across America. Children would grab a pen and circle their dream gifts, sometimes wearing out the pages by flipping through them over and over again. Siblings would argue over who got to look first, and parents secretly studied the pages to see which wishes they could make come true. It wasn't just a catalog, it was a tradition, something that fueled anticipation for weeks. Long before online wish lists, the Wish Book was the one-stop shop for Christmas dreams. It disappeared in the 90s, but for those who grew up in the 60s, nothing could ever replace the excitement of tearing open that big, glossy book. Number 4. Lionel Electric Trains. For many families, the real star of Christmas morning wasn't under the tree, it was circling it. Lionel Electric Trains were the pride and joy of countless households. Dads and kids would spend hours setting up tracks, arranging little villages, and watching the engine puff and whistle its way around the presents. The sound of the wheels clicking on the tracks, the tiny glow of the headlights, and the thrill of controlling the train with a little lever brought endless joy. In some families, it became a yearly ritual. Unpack the train, dust it off, and let it circle the tree until New Year's. As the years went by and toys became more high-tech, the train tradition faded. But for those who grew up in the 60s, a Christmas tree didn't feel complete without that little train chugging around the base, carrying with it the rhythm of the season. Number 5. Handmade stockings. Before every store sold mass-produced stockings in every size and color, many families in the 60s made their own. Moms and grandmothers would spend weeks before Christmas sewing felt stockings, decorating them with sequins, and carefully stitching each child's name across the top. For kids, there was nothing like seeing your stocking hung by the fireplace, glittering with personal touches. It wasn't just decoration, it was love, sewn into every detail. And when Christmas morning came, those handmade stockings were stuffed with oranges, candy canes, small toys, and little surprises. Today, store-bought stockings are everywhere, but the handmade ones of the 60s carried something more, a sense of warmth and tradition that can't be mass-produced. Number 6. Holiday TV specials. When Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer aired in 1964, families gathered around their televisions like it was a holiday event. The stop-motion animation, the heartfelt story, and Burl Ives' voice made it an instant classic. Just a year later, A Charlie Brown Christmas gave the world a quieter, gentler reflection on the meaning of the season. In the 60s, there was no streaming, no DVR. If you missed the special, you had to wait until next year. That made the night feel special, almost sacred. Families huddled together, kids in pajamas, popcorn bowls on laps, as the screen flickered with magic. These specials are still broadcast today, but back then, they weren't just background noise. They were an event, something families looked forward to all year long. Number 7. Christmas caroling. In the 1960s, caroling wasn't just something you saw in movies. It was real. Groups of neighbors bundled up in scarves and mittens, going door to door, filling the frosty night air with songs like Silent Night and O Come All Ye Faithful. For the families who opened their doors, the sound of carolers was a gift in itself, a reminder that the holidays were about community, togetherness, and joy. Kids sometimes joined in, learning the verses by heart, while adults carried lanterns or sheet music. Over the decades, caroling slowly faded away, replaced by quieter, more private celebrations. But for those who remember it, hearing voices harmonize under a snowy sky was pure Christmas magic. Number 8. Christmas cards on display. The mailbox in December was always full, and every card was treasured. Families in the 60s didn't just tuck them away. They displayed them proudly. Cards were taped to door frames, pinned to bulletin boards, or strung on garlands across the living room. Each card was a connection, a cousin in another state, an old friend, a neighbor down the street. The designs were often glittery, embossed, or hand-drawn, turning the house into a gallery of festive cheer. Today, emails and text messages have replaced many of those cards, but nothing compares to the feeling of flipping through envelopes and hanging them up one by one, filling the house with color and goodwill. Number 9. Toy classics. Christmas morning in the 60s was a parade of now iconic toys. Barbies with their glamorous outfits, G.I. Joes standing tall in their uniforms, Etch-a-Sketches shaking to life with every drawing. And who could forget the glow of an easy-bake oven, where kids baked real cakes under a simple light bulb? These weren't just toys. They were the building blocks of imagination. They brought siblings together, inspired hours of play, and gave kids a sense that anything was possible. Many of these toys still exist, but in the 60s, they were brand new, hot off the shelves, and every kid dreamed of unwrapping one. Number 10. Midnight Mass and candlelight services. For many families, the holidays weren't complete without church on Christmas Eve. Midnight Mass or candlelight services brought a hush over the season, reminding everyone that Christmas was more than gifts and decorations. walking into the church, lit only by candles, with the choir softly singing, felt sacred. Kids remember the glow of the candles, the warmth of holding hands, and the feeling of stepping out into the crisp night afterwards, hearts full of peace. Even for families who weren't very religious, the ritual of gathering at church added a layer of reflection and meaning. While fewer families attend today, those candlelit nights remain some of the most powerful memories of Christmas past. The 1960s gave us a Christmas that was full of wonder, tradition, and simple joys. From sparkling aluminium trees to the smell of homemade stockings filled with candy, each memory takes us back to a time when the season was less about things and more about togetherness. If this trip down memory lane brought a smile to your face, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, which 60s Christmas memory do you remember most? We'd love to share your stories in a future video.